We're all stuck at home right now, and I've seen lots of creative ideas on taking still life or product style photos indoors, and I decided to challenge myself to take wildlife photography right here in my own neighborhood. There's a little patch of woods right at the end of my street, and I just got a new toy. So I'm going to pack up the Z6, some lenses, and my brand new Osmo Action, and we're going to see if we can take some wildlife photos without traveling. Let's go for a walk. Alright, so there's this small strip of woods that runs between a subdivision back this way and the school behind the camera here. And it's not very wide, but it does have a little walking trail on it. And the last couple times I've come down here, I have seen little flappy birds, squirrels of course, but I've also found a hawk's nest, I've seen some deer, and I've seen a couple of barred owls. And so that's what I'm going after here. And this is just a small piece of woods here. It's in the middle of the suburbs. Basically what I'm trying to do is, when I saw the owls, they were roosted in trees just above the trail. And the only way that I could get pictures of them was by kind of getting up underneath them, which is not the best for composition. And it also made some challenging lighting because the birds were almost silhouetted against the bright sky. So I discovered that if I come up the hill to the back side of the school, I can come right on the back side of where I saw the owls and be more elevated, might be able to get a better shot. Alright, so one thing that might seem like kind of a problem is this chain link fence right here. But we can make this fence virtually disappear just by getting up close to it. Alright, so I've got my tripod set up. I'm right close to the fence. I'm actually going to get a little bit closer to it. And now, since we're close to the fence, when I focus on something far away, is basically going to disappear from view. I've got focus on a small squirrel's nest. I can go ahead and take the picture, and we'll be able to see that the fence is not really in the photograph at all. Alright, so that's a fairly easy trick for dealing with a simple obstruction like a chain link fence. It looks like I'm not the only one that had an idea like this for today. I just had a drone flying overhead. Here it is back again. I think it's a Mavic Air, which is the same one I have. So that's pretty cool. Other people are out doing some stuff, trying to get some activity in and trying to get some photo and video work in too. So as we've been taking walks down here, like I said, I've seen lots of small birds, squirrels, but we saw some deer also. We saw the same 3 deer 2 different times. Both times I saw them, they were in the same place. Now the problem is, the sort of natural way to walk this trail coming from my house is to travel east. The area where these deer have been, they've been bedded down kind of in a little hollow where they're facing to the east. What happens is, as I come up on them, they detect my presence before I really get to them, and they just kind of keep moving out ahead of me. So what I'm going to try and do today is walk around the parking lot of the school, start the trail from the other end, and walk west and see if I can catch the deer bedded down in that same area, but they'll be facing me and facing the camera. Alright, so they had construction going on in different areas of the parking lot of the school, and we had to walk all the way around the school in order to get back to the other end of this trail. It felt like we were walking forever, especially when we had to stop and go back and try a different way. But we finally got here. We're here at the head of the trail, and we're about to start walking down, and we'll see what we can find. What kind of birds, deer, there's a creek down there, I don't know. We'll get some pictures of something. Alright, so I found this cool little waterfall here right behind me, and I'm going to have to change lenses, but I'm going to throw my 20mm 1.8 on with an ND filter, and we're going to do a little long exposure on this water right here. So I've taken a couple of different exposures here, dialing, playing with the variable ND filter, playing with my aperture to get a slow shutter speed, and I think I'm happy with it right around 1.6 seconds for the exposure. I had a couple that the highlights were a little blown out at first, had to make some adjustments from there, but the 1.6 seconds I think really worked out nice. Smoothed out that water and kept the rocks in nice sharp focus. So I'm interested to see what these look like when I get them back on the computer.
Dad.
What happened?
I put my foot in and it was really cold.
All right, now I'm down here on the trail where we've seen the deer and the owls before, and directly up the hill this way is the fence and the building where I was standing earlier to show you how you could shoot photos through the chain link fence. So you can see there's not very much distance there. We're just down over the hill, and being able to take a shot from up there would give us a nice high vantage point on a bird that is roosted or perched in a tree. Now just ahead of us on this trail, there's a tree down across the creek. And just on the other side of that tree is where we've seen the 3 deer before. So we're just kind of moving nice and slow up through here to see maybe if we can catch them in the same place. All right, I think I see the deer bedded down over here. So I'm gonna slide down over the hill, go across to the other side of the creek and see if I can catch up on them. Come on, let's go. The deer have gotten up out of their beds and they're moving, but I am able to get a couple shots of them through the trees. Some of them might turn out okay. All right, so I got a couple of shots of the deer. They may not be the best shots in the world, but at least I was able to see them, get them in frame and get some shots. They're a little bit busy, but I think it'll actually work out a couple of them kind of nice, just having the deer in their environment in the woods. So I was happy to be able to get the shots. Now, let's go see if we can find one of those owls. I've actually located one of the owls, and it's roosted in a tree right here, and he's just kind of hanging out there watching us. He hasn't flown off yet, so I'm gonna come off the tripod because I'm gonna have to go handheld. He's up in the tree and I can't really get a good angle on him, so I'm gonna have to kind of try and sneak up on the tree and see if I can get some shots up through the branches without him flying off. Got him. I think that's gonna be the shot. I think I got a really nice one of him looking down the tree at me. And even though that's not ideal, you want to kind of be at eye level with your subject, I think it's gonna make for a pretty neat picture. All right, we've come back 2 days later, and we found the owl again. And this time we were able to walk up the hill. And after we had seen the owl, this time we saw the owl from the trail. We took a couple shots, but there were too many branches in the way. So we decided to climb up the hill. We're just inside the fence that I showed you earlier, but we're at the top of the hill, almost at eye level with the owl, because he's on a tree that's lower down the hill from us. So we're getting some really nice shots. So we were able to sneak around even closer to the owl. We got a little closer to that barred owl. We got some really nice shots. And he stayed perched on that branch until we ran out of light. But we didn't scare him. We didn't spook him off. So we're learning his patterns. We know where he likes to stay around here. So we'll be able to find him again. I'm really glad that we decided to come back down here tonight. Not only because we got some better shots of the owl, but because we learned a little bit more about this area and where he likes to hang out and where we might be able to catch him next time.